The M4 MacBook Pro is already the best laptop on the market in many ways, so Apple didn't even need to come out with a new one, but they have. And in this box right here, we have the new M5 MacBook Pro that just, it kills AMD and Intel. It absolutely slaughters them. It's a bloodbath. It's not even fair. They're just on the ground and Apple's kicking them at this point. Like, they're already dead. You didn't need to do this, guys. But holy frick, it's good. Let's unbox it. Oh, Apple does their unboxings just so good. The thing that I like the most is you just open it up and whatever glue they use smells fantastic. Nothing has a better like new laptop smell than these. This right here is the 70-watt charger, although if you spend an additional $20, you can get a 96-watt one. Although I personally would just stick with the 70 because it's a bit smaller and lighter, and 70 watts is enough in my opinion. We also have our charging cable, which is packed better from the factory. It never goes back in the same, and that's it. And I guess this is your box now. Do you want it?
Yeah.
For the M5, we got a silver one, which I really like because otherwise telling it apart from the M4 would be pretty much impossible. The only other real difference is that my M4 has gotten a lot of use, so it's kind of dirty. Yep, Apple really did not update anything besides the processor. Those sure look like the same laptop. The MacBook Pro 14-inch is made from CNC'd aluminum and is 3.4 pounds, making it a little bit on the heavier side for 14-inch laptops, but also it's a little bit on the way better built side for 14-inch laptops. Let's do a little bend test here. Yeah, like if you really push around the keyboard, you can get a tiny bit of flex. Push around here, nothing there. It is no secret that Apple has been setting the bar for chassis build quality in laptops for years, and this is no exception. For I/O, we get 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports. That is not Thunderbolt 5 like you can get on the M4 Max, but at the same time, Thunderbolt 4 is good enough for the vast majority of people. I don't really know of anything that really needs Thunderbolt 5 at the moment. Like maybe you could use a eGPU, but those are always terrible and probably don't work on Mac, so it's fine. We also get a full-size SD card reader. I absolutely love that because if you're shooting photos or videos, you can just slap the SD card right in there. It's super quick. We also have HDMI 2.1 and MagSafe on the side, which some people like. I personally don't. I think that we could really use a Type A there and also a 3.5mm headphone jack. All right, let's start using this. But before that, a segue to our sponsor, Ugreen. Thanks to Ugreen for sponsoring today's video. Network attached storage, or a NAS, is kind of like iCloud or Google Drive, but with no monthly fees or privacy concerns. With Ugreen's NAS DH2300, you can install up to 60 terabytes worth of hard drives, which can store 20 million pictures, 40,000 movies, or 62 million files. There is wide compatibility with third-party hard drives, and it automatically backs up your iPhone albums or Time Machine backups of your MacBook. It also features multi-user sharing with flexible access permissions to ensure your friends or family can only access the data you want them to access, and NFC login. Setup is smooth and simple, only taking about 10 minutes. Hard drive installation is as simple as right there. There is RAID support to keep your data safe, and the UgreenNAS is faster than most cloud storage with a 1 gigabit Ethernet port for 125 megabyte per second transfer speeds. So check out the link in the description to get 20% off, and thanks to Ugreen for sponsoring this video. Wow, even after using a MacBook for several months, the abomination that is the notch doesn't cease to amaze me. Just how fucking ugly that is. They don't even have like IR facial detection or anything. Like Windows Hello is so much better than a fingerprint reader. It's just this tiny little dot right here, and they're using up this much screen for it. It would be unforgivable if this wasn't the best display on the market. For the display, the resolution is 3024 by 1968p. A little bit of a weird number, but it is excellent. They packed a lot of resolution into this display, but it isn't quite 4K because frankly, you do not need that at this size. And of course, the star of the show is the 1600 nit peak brightness. Look at that. It doesn't look like the sun, but it looks like way more of the sun than the vast majority of laptops that you look at. And not only is this display incredibly bright, but it also is incredibly accurate, not only in SDR, but also HDR. There are a lot of Windows laptops that are really quite accurate in SDR, but once you turn HDR on, it just turns into a hot mess. But not only is the color tracking great in HDR, but the brightness tracking is as well, meaning that this thing beats a lot of like professional mastering monitors for accuracy. It's actually insane. Look, it looks incredible. Like, look at that. Look at that deer. It also is 120 Hertz, what Apple calls their ProMotion display, and it can do variable refresh rate, but it's a locked number of different refresh rates it can do. It's not a proper variable refresh rate like you might get with a G-Sync monitor or a FreeSync monitor. It's just going between a couple of different frame rates in order to give you more battery life. It's not going to be able to smooth out your games. So, okay motion, maybe? For $150, Apple will sell you their fancy nano texture coating, which is a matte coating to help with reflections on the screen, although honestly, I don't really think you need to spend that. Again, it's 1,600 nits. So I have had no trouble at all going outside in direct sunlight, watching YouTube videos, movies, working on documents. It's so bright, it's just overpowered. And speaking of overpowered, that M5 chip that we have in here, it gets you 4 performance cores, 6 efficiency cores for a total of 10, and it has a maximum boost speed of 4.6 gigahertz. And before on the M4, the single threaded performance was insane, and this one is even more faster. Apple claims this new CPU is 15% faster than the M4, and in my testing, it is 15.6% faster than the M4, and it absolutely kills AMD and Intel's best. Compared to the Intel Core Ultra 7 268V and the HP EliteBook X, the M5 is a 61% performance improvement. And if you were to go from AMD's Ryzen 9 HX 370 to the M5, you will see a 75.4% increase in single-threaded performance. That's, well, it's enough that I can very easily tell going between the laptops, just doing very simple tasks, that this thing and also this thing absolutely wipe the floor with Windows at the moment. Like even just very simple stuff like hiding your browser, bringing it back up, opening up Finder/Windows, or doing that sort of stuff. It is instant on this, and you can start to notice a little bit of a delay on your Windows devices after using a Mac for a while. Now in multi-threaded workloads, the M5 is still a beast. They do have those 4 performance cores and 6 efficiency cores, and apparently those efficiency cores have gotten even more of a bump. There are some other improvements, like we have gone from 4 megabytes of L2 cache in the M4 to 6 megabytes in the M5, and also we have some increased memory bandwidth, which is not just good for your CPU performance, but especially your GPU performance. I'm just looking at the numbers, and the correlation between memory bandwidth and your GPU performance are actually incredibly close, backing up my argument that those two are really, really tied together. We have a 27.5% increase in memory bandwidth, and Apple claims that we have a 30% faster GPU, and in my testing, it is 28.5% faster. So yeah, that's pretty darn close. Just because the GPU in this is very strong though, does not necessarily mean that translates into excellent gaming performance. Like in Geekbench, a synthetic benchmark, their GPU test showed that the M5's GPU is 55% faster than the Intel Arc 140V. But once you actually start playing games, they are functionally identical in performance, kind of just showing how no one really optimizes properly for Apple, unfortunately. We will be doing a lot more testing of how to get games to run really good on Apple in the future, but for now, it's pretty mixed. If you have any tips, drop them down below and we'll try them. What also has been improved is the SSD. The biggest change is that the entire storage controller has been reworked and it now runs on PCIe 5 instead of 4 in the previous gen. And this means that you have much higher transfer speeds. Apple says that it's going at 5,100 megabytes per second compared to the 3,100 of the M4. Although this disk speed test is currently seeing higher than that. We're at 6,300 megabytes per second, right? Okay, so my M4 is bang on Apple's numbers, but the M5 is just absolutely slaying them. I wonder if that's because this SSD is pretty much empty, whereas mine is basically full. That could explain that. I do just want to go back to the GPU for a second though, because when you compare this to integrated graphics on Windows, it does really quite well. But if you compare it to dedicated graphics from NVIDIA, it gets absolutely destroyed. Like, not even in the same ballpark. And because I have to test these on the same game, they kind of have to be in the same ballpark, and that holds back the dedicated GPUs because they are so much faster. Like, the game engine is what is stopping them from going faster. Like in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the GPU renderer was at 400 FPS. Well, this thing was at 80. Like, it's not even remotely close. So if what you want to do is actually game all the time, you need to get a Windows laptop. This is not going to do it for you. Because we've been doing percent increases, you could say something like the RTX 4070 Mobile is 437% faster than the M5 Mac. One thing that is also new with this MacBook is macOS Tahoe, and it's not the worst, but it's also not amazing. Like, I don't like what they've done with Finder. We kind of have this weird border around your little close window and minimize window stuff when before it was up at the top. I don't love the look. I don't hate it. I also don't like that they just put widgets on your desktop. So you get to go in, first thing you do, you try and right click on it. It doesn't work every time. Dang it, why are you doing that? Okay, right click. No, there we go. Remove widget. Remove widget. Remove widget. It's not hard, but it's the kind of bullcrap that you normally have to do on Windows instead. For this OS, they also got rid of the top menu bar, which might seem okay, but it makes the notch much more obvious. Once again, like, I'm gonna complain about this but like, look at that. Like, with this beautiful beach background, it's just like, really? I know that Apple has the absolute reign of the world when it comes to displays. Like, they can get literally any display that they want. They can go to a panel manufacturer, have anything created, whether it's 1600 nits at their super weird ass resolution with some rounded corners on the top. They can do literally anything, and they chose to do this. The keyboard on the MacBook Pro is incredibly good, but it's also far from the best on the market. It's super consistent. Like, the 4-stick press, every single key is almost identical because, again, the chassis is just so incredibly rigid, and it does definitely win out against the MacBook Air, which I find is a bit softer, a bit squishier, definitely not as consistent. But compared to some Windows laptop, like in particular that HP EliteBook X that we recently looked at, it's not even close. I do think that the MacBook Pro is one of the laptops that for burst typing, I can get the absolute fastest on. Like, if you're just typing a couple of sentences, you can be blistering fast on this. But because that throw is so short, I do find it fatiguing after a while. Like, if I'm writing 2,000-3,000 word scripts in a day, my fingers will eventually start to get tired, whereas on something like that EliteBook, that is not the case. I can go for like 8 hours on that. As for the trackpad, it is absolutely fantastic. Under here, we have a bunch of tiny little piezoelectric motors. So when you click on it, it vibrates those and gives you the feel of a click. The Force Touch is excellent. The tracking is also the best on the market. And what's even better is the way that macOS and the trackpad have been sort of combined together to work so great. Like, the gestures that they have are just second to none. It's like nothing that you have on Windows, and just the way that you can navigate with a trackpad is so good, which it better be, because if you're trying to use an actual mouse, it's not nearly as good as Windows. Okay, let's give the speakers a sniff here. So good. Absolutely fantastic. This is the benchmark for a reason. Let's go to the drop here. It's full, it has a really good house curve. It actually sounds even better when you have it at like 50% volume because it has a real nice bass to treble fall off. There is some dynamic range compression when you have it at full blast, but it sounds wide, it sounds deep. Apple's done such a good job. Now, how exactly did they do that? Well, they have 6 speakers and force canceling. So we've got 2 little tweeters, and then the woofers sort of move against each other so that you're not putting vibrations into the chassis, and instead you're putting them out into the air. All right, let's compare the speakers to the benchmark. So here we have the M5 MacBook Pro, and here we have the M4 MacBook Pro. Huh, they sound identical. Whoever would have thought that the same laptop chassis and speakers and tuning would sound identical? Apple didn't change a thing. Okay, webcam. That's not what I wanted. Why the countdown? For the webcam, we get a 12 megapixel center stage camera. We also have a 3 mic array, which Apple claims sounds pretty good. You can be the judge compared to our shotgun microphone. And also it records 1080p video and it looks really friggin' good. It's exposing very well for my face, even if there are some kind of highlights here. I can turn around, let's point it towards the big light. It's doing a great job. There is Andy. You can even see like all the individual hairs because it's just pretty good, but it's not good enough to justify the stupid notch. Apple, I'm not giving it up. I'm never giving it up. Now for repairability, we're gonna actually open it up in a second and look at the insides, but before that, I just wanna tell you a little story. The day after we got fired, literally while we were doing the articles of incorporation for this company here, the screen on my MacBook died, like completely killed, just randomly decided to turn hot purple for no good reason. So I took it to the Apple store. They were like, yeah, your screen's broken. And then under 24 hours later, I got it back, new screen installed, all of my files and everything still intact. And it was genuinely incredible. Like, it's some of the absolute best customer experience that I've ever had. $0, all under warranty, just show up, give it to them next day, get it back. Incredible. With so many other companies, if that had happened, I would have had to mail it to them, wait 2 weeks, hope that they repair it and don't accidentally screw up something else in the process. You probably don't have all your data at the end of the day, or you just get sent a whole other laptop, maybe after getting in a fight with their warranty department. Like, I cannot speak more highly of how they dealt with my completely borked laptop display, even though it also does mean that my MacBook is the least reliable laptop I have ever owned, because I've never had a hardware failure on anything else. One thing that is annoying is that Apple, instead of using, a standard like Phillips or Torx, kind of made up their own screw head. It's the Pentalobe 5 on this specifically. So if you do want to open one of these up, make sure that you have a P5 bit before trying it. Do be careful, you need to pop out these 2 clips, but then in the back, it has these little sort of slidey things. So once you have the top 2, you need to pull out and towards you. In here, as a user, if you want to repair or upgrade anything, you can't. I guess maybe you could repair the fan. That's about all you're gonna be doing. The RAM is soldered down, which is pretty much to be expected, and the storage is also soldered down. So you are not going to be able to replace that or upgrade it or do anything like that unless you happen to know Colin from DOS Dude 1 and you send your whole device to him. He can do it, but the process is not for the faint of heart, to say the least. If you do have some extra money laying around and want to option this out a bit, I strongly recommend just putting all of your money into RAM. You can get a NAS, like I know Ugreen just sponsored this, but it also is just what I think is the proper thing to do. Like, Apple will charge you $1,200 for 4 terabytes of storage. And like, it's incredibly fast, but you can buy a 4 terabyte hard drive for $100. Like, you get a NAS, you get a couple of hard drives, 30 terabytes for $600. 2 of those, $1,200. You can have 60 terabytes of hard drive storage for the price of 4 on the, no, like actually just go buy a NAS, please. For the battery, we get 72.4 watt hours of capacity. And in my testing, we were able to get 17 hours and 22 minutes out of it. If you're wondering how much more battery life the M5 got compared to the M4, it got a staggering 4 more minutes. So that's not gonna be a huge generational uplift, but at the same time, 17 and a half hours is incredible for your battery life. In my day-to-day use of my MacBook, I easily get over a week without charging it. And in general, the battery life is just excellent. And also because that processor only consumes 17 watts, you don't have these problems where on some Windows laptops, it'll be an absolute performance beast when you have it plugged in and then you unplug it and it completely falls on its face. By the way, we shared our performance data with Jake over at Jakua, so go watch his video and also subscribe to his channel, because thank you. It was much easier to collaborate on this, and I did all of the stupid Windows laptops. Oh, a couple more things. There's an iPad Pro that also gets the M5, and if you, I don't know, don't like seeing your family ever, there's also Vision Pro with an M5. I friggin' hate those things. It's actually my least favorite piece of tech ever. It's such an isolating, terrible experience, and now you can have that same experience, but faster. So finally, the price. The M5 MacBook Pro as spec'd comes in at $1,600 US, and it's a pretty good deal. Like, there are much more expensive Windows laptops that are much worse. It has the best speakers on the market. It has the best display on the market. The battery life's fantastic. It wrecks everyone in single-threaded performance. Now, there are some people that say that you should just get the MacBook Air instead of the Pro, and I personally disagree with that quite a bit. The display is so much better on the Pro. It's over 3 times as bright. You also get better I/O, better keyboard, better speakers. It's just absolutely worth it. And also, you get a fan, which we particularly appreciate right now because Andy's Mac Studio has been not rendering stuff particularly quickly lately, and when we went to do the testing for this, we found out the fan's just straight up dead, and it is pretty amazing how good it's been doing. Yeah. But it should have been doing a lot better. So please get subscribed for the video where we tear apart Andy's Mac Studio and make it actually run correctly. Hit like so that the algorithm likes us even more, and of course check out our Patreon if you want to support the channel. Have a great old day.